everyone, welcome back to Assetto Corsa Competizione for my first race in low-fuel motorsport SpeedyRugs BMW M2 Cup. After my latest GT3 disaster last week, several of you recommended me to try this series instead, so here we are at Zolder. I'll be starting from P21 on a grid of 31 with my qualifying time of 1:43.7, nearly 2 seconds off Max Rainman in pole position. However, it's a new car for me, this one, and I'm going to have to learn it as I go here, so I'm not expecting any big results. But believe me, you'll want to stick with this one. You're going to see an astonishing sequence of events that turns this race on its head at the halfway point, and I'm not going to lie, a rather heartbreaking conclusion too. Let's get on track and do battle. And I've survived T1. I was pinned to the inside, which meant a tighter and slower line. I haven't lost any positions yet, but I'm about to because Anderson De Silva is on my inside. We were side by side all through turn 1, De Silva taking that wider line, and he held firm. We're now going to be put under even more pressure from Alex Spa behind. He gets right up close as we come into this right-hander, but we do hold on. Spa now has got his hands full with iRacing. So we're waiting for the leaderboard to update to see exactly where we are. I think we might have lost 2 positions because I've spotted Martin Breyer-Fashing above me on the leaderboard. He started just behind me in P22, so clearly he crept past 2 through T1. And yeah, there we are, we're in 23rd. So 2 positions dropped and also a bunch of time dropped. You may have noticed that I switched to the inside just before that previous chicane. I was really worried about Spa behind. He came in so hot. I decided just to ease over to the left to give him a bit of extra room to outbrake himself. Thankfully he didn't. Thankfully there was no contact and we both survived. But yeah, I'm still really worried about contact from behind. I've not got confidence in my braking or corner speed at the moment, particularly after that GT3 race at the Nürburgring last week. And we're still under all sorts of pressure from Spa. I took the defensive line into that hairpin in the hope that I might be able to hold him off, but he ran it around the outside and we're still too wide coming up this back straight into the final chicane. I'm going to have to leave him space on the inside, but if I can just hold firm and get the inside line out of the chicane, I may just hold on to this position. Great racing. We were too wide all through that section. We're still too wide, but it looks like Spa's just got a bit of extra grunt down the start-finish straight. And it might have been too much grunt because he's completely missed the apex and he's out onto the gravel. Meanwhile, we take a big nudge from the left. That was Roman Jaggi trying an opportunist move up the inside. He didn't leave me much space at all there on the curb. There was big contact. It almost pushed me out onto the gravel. Thankfully, I got my elbows out and stayed strong, but I think I'm fighting a losing battle holding on to this position. I did just clip the curb on the inside, which unsettled my car slightly. It cost me speed at the vital time, and Jaggi storms past. We're going to lose a position to Singh as well, and if we're not careful, to Corentin Lascala. Look at Lascala in the rearview mirror. He's up the inside into this chicane. I'm going to do my best to hold on. I do hold on, but that can't disguise the fact that we are dropping like a stone here. We're down to 25th position. Yeah, we got a bit beaten up on this opening lap. I'm trying to be tough and not surrender positions too easily, so I really did try and hold on here against the number 23, Alex Spa. But in concentrating on that battle, I took my eye off Roman Jaggi behind. Jaggi tried to move up the inside. He almost runs me onto the gravel there. Thankfully, we just about hold on, but it did cost us a position. So we're going to rejoin the live action halfway through lap 3, and unfortunately I'm going to make another small mistake just coming out of this chicane. I get on the gas a little bit too early, which pulls the car a bit too wide, and I'm going to get 2 tyres on the grass right there, which means I can't get on the gas nearly as quickly as I wanted to. As a result, we're going to be put under all sorts of pressure from Joseph Barbati behind. I'm forced into taking the defensive line once again. It's the second time in 3 laps I've used this line into the hairpin. It didn't work defending against Spa, and it certainly hasn't worked here. Barbati cruises around the outside. I'm down to 26th. We're leaping forward now to the end of lap 5, and unfortunately I've got another small mistake in me, which is going to cost me yet another position on track. I did say before the start of the race that I was going to use this session to learn the car and get familiar with it. Well, 5 laps in and I am struggling. I'm just going to run in a bit too hot into T1. We saw Spa make exactly the same mistake at the start of lap 2. I'm out onto the gravel. This time it's Spa who profits. He's going to whiz by around the outside, or is he? I thought he was going to be far enough ahead to close that door going into turn 2, but he wasn't. So we are still side by side. I'm about half a car length behind. So there is a chance, albeit a slim chance, that I might be able to hold on to this 26th position. No, we do back out of it coming into this right-hander. I wasn't quite far enough alongside. It would have been a lunge. But yeah, at the start of lap 2, I profited when Spa braked himself into T1 and ran onto the gravel. Fast forward a few laps, I returned the favour. End of lap 6 then, we find ourselves down in 27th position now, and already we're losing ground to Spa. He's opened up an advantage of nearly 1 second. Meanwhile behind, we've still got Corentin Lascala a little bit too close for comfort. He's just 0.6 of a second back in 28th. So yeah, I knew this race was going to be a learning experience, but at the moment I am struggling big time. My only hope is that this pack in front, battling so closely together, are going to slow each other down and let me catch back up with them. And as I say that, there's a big incident in the final chicane. We have to react really quickly to avoid the stricken car there. I miss a gear in all the panic. That's cost me a position to Lascala. Finally, Corentin Lascala finds a way through. Now I think we're still in 27th position, because although we lost that place to Lascala, we gained a position from that car facing the wrong way in the final chicane. We are still in 27th, and we may be able to get 26th back. Lascala was slow out of turn 1. There's a gap on the inside. So I'm going to stick my nose right in it. We're side by side as we exit turn 2. Have we got the oomph to get past Lascala before this right-hander? We're half a car length in front. We're a little bit later on the brakes, and yes, we do get the job done. Lascala's going to be faster out of that turn though, so I'm going to defend heading down to this chicane. Oh, I'm worried about this one. Going too wide through this section is not a relishing prospect. I'm going to hold firm though. Wait a minute, there is a car flying through on the inside. That was Giuseppe Maritato. Where did he come from? But more importantly, how did he pull it off? He surely had to have cut the track there. He's gained several positions with that swoop through the chicane. We're going to have to check out the replay to see what happened. Okay, well that's me on the inside. I'm defending, and Maritato is the car right behind me, and he is going to come in really hot. He decides to cut the corner completely and make several overtakes in one swoop. Well, I hope that was just a missed braking point rather than a deliberate track cut. But even so, you've got to be thinking about giving those positions back. Maritato, though, keeps it pinned and gains several positions. Right, let's go back a bit further. At the end of the previous lap, there was contact in the final chicane. Jere Makeda, as the number 8 driver, spun around there, and it's our old mate Roman Jaggi who clipped him. Jaggi making a pass up the inside, but runs in a bit too close to the number 8. There's contact. Jaggi gets really lucky there. He was all ready to spin around himself, but the contact from the car behind him kept him facing in the right direction. Really unfortunate for Makeda, really lucky for Jaggi. We're going to return to the live action at the start of lap 8, and Jaggi is now right in front of me. It cost him several positions, that collision in the chicane, and he's now just 0.8 of a second ahead. Now, I haven't forgotten that little nudge he gave me through this turn 1 section earlier in the race, so I really want to get this position back. I'm closing in on him fast, and I'm starting to feel more confident in this car too. Look how much quicker we are through turn 2. Jaggi gets a little bit of a slide on. That's going to give me an opportunity to challenge, just like I did a couple of laps ago. I stick it up the inside. Can we get the job done before this right-hander once again? Yes, we can. But just like before, we're going to be down on speed coming out of the corner. So again, I'm going to have to defend. Hopefully this time there's no flying Maritato up the inside. But we do hold off Jaggi successfully into this chicane. So we're up into 26th position. Well, we're not going to have any peace from Jaggi behind. Look how close he is. 0.1 of a second. Is he going to mount an assault into this next chicane? I do hope not. We're going to have to be as late on the brakes as we possibly can be. Glide through this section. We're still holding Jaggi off at the moment, and in fact we get a much better exit. Jaggi drops back a bit. Well, I'm relieved about that. Finally some breathing room behind. What an intense race this is, and we're nowhere near the top 20 even. And we're 2 seconds behind the pack in front. So let's jump forward to the end of lap 9, and you can see that 2-second gap has come down to 1.3 seconds. We are starting to lap a little bit quicker than these guys in front and reel them in. And look, Maritato has got the chicane all wrong. Well, I wonder if he took the same line that he tried a few laps ago. If he did, it bit him on the butt. but this time, and we are up a position. We're up into 25th, and we are closing in fast on this pack now. We're starting to find our groove. Oh, but we might have pushed just a little bit too hard through that chicane. We've just been handed our first track cuts warning. But I'll take that rap on the knuckles because it means we're now within 1 second of the pack in front. iRacing just 0.8 of a second ahead in 24th. And as we hit the hairpin, there is a car out onto the grass. That is Alex Spa. Is he going to rejoin alongside? Oh, yes, he is. It's really close. But we're past him. We're up into 24th, and I feel like we're making proper progress now. Let's check out the replay first to see what happened to Maritato. He gets this chicane all wrong, takes too much of the curb, it unsettles the car, and he's out onto the gravel. Then at the end of the lap, Spa runs in too hot into the hairpin. He's never going to get that stopped and turned. He's wide out onto the grass, does rejoin alongside me, but of course he's down on pace. We're able to nip through and up into 24th position. Well, you may remember at the start of the video I mentioned an astonishing sequence of events that turns this race on its head. Well, it happens right here towards the end of lap 10. We start by seeing a white flag to warn us of a slow car ahead. Those white flags are soon replaced by some frantic yellow flag waving. So clearly there has been a big incident. At the moment I can't see what has gone on. The greens are out, no white flags again. Still no clue as to what's gone on here, but we will start to see a couple of dust clouds and an extremely banged up BMW on the right there. We've got past that one okay, so we're up into 23rd position. At this point, I thought I'd just picked up one place, but I had no idea of the scale of this incident. As we crossed the line, watch the leaderboard change, top left. There are no fewer than 6 cars in the pits getting repairs, so all of a sudden we find ourselves promoted up to 18th position and right on the tail of iRacing there, who gets turn 1 a little bit wrong. Yeah, clearly a huge incident has occurred somewhere on the track. Let's check out the replay to see exactly what happened, and it's a back marker. The number 32, Lucio Luis Sobral, has just been caught up by the leading pack. That's the race leader, the number 3 car. Rene Brie bashing his way through there. That opens up a gap for the second place driver, Peter Lindner, to also get past the back marker. However, watch the driver in 3rd position, Max Rainman. He runs right into the back of Sobral, sending Sobral spinning out, and this is what causes mayhem. Sobral doesn't hold the brakes. He slowly rolls across track right on that blind corner. As a result, car after car after car just plough into him. So this incident has completely obliterated the top 10 of this race. The leading 3 are through, but watch in the background. The 4th place car out, 5th out, 6th out, 7th out. And it doesn't even end there. More cars are coming in now, and there's more huge shunts. Even as far down as 10th position, the number 21 car of Pascal Lann was involved in this. We're watching Lann now chasing 9th position, unsighted. The pair of them plough into the back marker. They're out to Lann as well, not holding on to the brakes, careers into someone else. It is a complete catastrophe here at Zolder. Thought that was the worst of it. Think again, it's still kicking off after the hairpin. The number 11 of Killian Clay is collected from behind by Cavalli Milan. He spins off too, and still the carnage kept coming. Watch Sky V make a dive up the inside into the hairpin. He's never going to get that stopped. He's out onto the gravel, rejoins suddenly with 3 wide, and there's contact with the other 2 cars. David Bordes, the number 28, took the worst of it. He absolutely drilled the barrier not once but twice, and then also took Thomas Rojek with him. So yeah, the events of lap 10 have completely transformed this race. We find ourselves promoted up into 18th position. A couple of laps ago, a top 20 finish looked nearly impossible. Now it's looking almost certain as we rejoin the live action towards the end of lap 13. We've got just 2 minutes left on the clock now. So I think we're going to get 2 more laps after this one. This lap and then 1 more after it. We're just 0.4 of a second ahead of Giuseppe Maritato behind. Now we know Maritato can be a bit of a maverick when it comes to overtakes, so we're going to have to be wary of that BMW behind. Meanwhile in front, Martin Breyer-Fashing is out onto the gravel, making the same mistake that I made earlier in the race. We've actually gained another position. We're up into 17th. Look at Maritato Maritato behind. He is swarming over the rear end of my BMW, so we are in a fight here. We're up into 17th place, but it is far from done and dusted. We've got 1.5 laps still to go. We're going to have to work really hard to hold off Maritato. Let's just hope he doesn't try another one of those moves into this chicane. I think we're just about far enough ahead of him, 0.6 of a second, to get in and through this chicane. And we get through it smoothly. In fact, we're opening up a little bit of a gap over Maritato. He's now 1.1 seconds back. I am relieved about that. It gives us a bit of breathing room behind. We can actually concentrate on closing in on iRacing because now we're within 0.6 of a second of him. So can it get even better? Can we force our way up into 16th position before the checkered flag? We've certainly got a bit of extra pace over Singh. The question is, can we use it to our advantage and get through? We're not close enough to make a move up the inside into this hairpin. Oh, but Singh's feeling the pressure. He braked too late into the hairpin, ran it out onto the grass. We are past and up into 16th position. Let's check out a replay to see some of these mistakes. And first it was the number 20, Martin Breyer-Fashin, making the mistake that so many people have made, myself included. That gave us 1 position back, and then at the end of the lap, Singh just braked too late coming into the hairpin. He can't get it stopped, he can't get it turned. He's out onto the grass, and we are up into 16th. Crucially though, Maritato got past as well, so he is still right behind me, and he's closed that gap back down again to 0.5 of a second. We're on the last lap now. We've got half a lap to hold on to this 16th position. Can we hold off Maritato? Can we get any closer to De Silva in front? So many questions still to be answered in this race, and I'm wondering whether the driver in 14th, Jorn Schweiders, isn't driving with damage because De Silva is closing in on him rapidly. As a result, that might help us close in on the pair of them. Don't forget Maritato behind as well. We are going to drag him into this battle, so we could approach the final couple of corners of this race in a 4-way battle for 14th position. Who would have thought that 5 or 10 minutes ago? Oh, look at De Silva in front. He's going to make a move up the inside of Schweiders, and we are right on the tail of the pair of them. We are in a battle. Oh no, we've been tagged from behind. There must have been contact from Maritato. The rear stepped out. I've done a 360 and I can't rejoin safely because there are cars still coming out of the hairpin. Oh no, this race has been ruined. So close to home, we can see the fireworks. I had a sniff of 14th, and in an instant it was taken away. We're not even going to finish in the top 20. Let's check out a replay of this heartbreaking conclusion. I mean, I took a defensive line into the hairpin to try and protect my position from Maritato, but then of course I had to take an equally tight exit because of the contact from the 2 cars in front of me. As a result, I had nowhere different to go. And on board with Maritato, we can see he just decides to try and go for a gap up the inside that I don't think really was there. Maybe I should have hugged that inside curb just a little bit tighter, just to remove any potential gap for Maritato to try and poke his nose up the inside. But watch that white BMW of Schweiders. He almost comes to a complete stop there, which was why I couldn't go any wider than where I already was. I couldn't give Maritato any more space and paid the ultimate price. So disappointing. Here are the classified results then, and we find ourselves all the way down in 22nd. Look where Maritato finished in the end. He got a top 15. We're down in 22nd. A cruel blow to end this race. But a disappointing final lap aside, I've really enjoyed this combo. A great series. The racing was really close, really tight, really fair for the most part. Thank you ever so much for recommending it. I'll definitely be back to do it again. I would appreciate any tips on setup. I didn't have a clue about tyre pressures or anything else in this, so I ran a default aggressive setup. Maybe there are a few tweaks I could make to be a bit more competitive in the future. If you drive this series regularly, please do let me know. And thank you ever so much for watching. Cheers for now.